The natural or inner join. As I said earlier, the natural or inner join is an intersection between sets. It finds the rows that are matching each other between two different sets or many different sets. We'll concentrate on two for the moment. It says here is retrieve only the rows common to both tables. It is the set intersection. Let's see if we can actually set about proving that and explaining it by example. Once again, I'm showing the row counts for the category and the show table. Since we've already executed these SQL statements in the previous movie, we won't execute them again. Here are the same SQL statements used for the cross join, except that I've now put in the syntax that would make them natural or intersection or inner joins. For the Oracle proprietary version, we basically put in a where clause that matches the category IDs against each other between the category and the show tables. For the ANSI format, we simply change the words cross join to natural join. It says here that I'm going to get 147 rows. What I want to do is set out to prove that I get that number of rows, plus I'm going to show you why and how. So let's go ahead and try and do that. Back to my script file. First of all, let's go and run the inner join, or the intersection, in the Oracle proprietary format, and see that we actually get the correct answer. We get 147 rows. Now let's check the ANSI format and copy and paste that. And we also get 147 rows. How do we set about proving that that's actually correct? I'm going to approach this indirectly. First of all, I'm going to find all the records in the category table that have an existing category ID in the show table. In other words, there is a relationship between these category IDs and the category IDs in the show table. I'm going to count them. So I'm saying that I have 7 categories in the show table. Now I'm going to display those categories. So now what I see is the actual category ID values that are used in the show table. All the other category ID values are not used in the show table. So these are the ones that will establish a match of a one-to-many relationship between the category table and the show table. Now let's run another query. This query here uses a group by and a count function. Don't worry about group by at the moment. It may be self-explanatory when I actually run the query and you can see what it does. What this is telling me is that, once again, these are all the categories in the category table that have an existing category ID in the show table. This simply gives me a count of all those categories in the show table. So it says that I have 30 category 6s in the show table, 34 category 12s, etc., etc. All I'm trying to show you is the link between category and show, in that only these categories exist in this show table. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count all those categories in the show table that exist in the category table. And all this command does is it goes and counts all the show records where the category ID is existing in the subquery, which is the category ID in the category table. And I get 147 rows. So we've actually introduced a new concept, the group by. We've seen something that we've seen before in terms of subqueries, using in and a subquery. These will be covered at a later stage. The point I'm trying to show here, I've just proved that I have 147 records in the show table which have a category ID, and that category ID exists in the category table. When I ran this group function, I took all the category IDs in the show table and grouped them into the totals within each category. If I were to take all these numbers and add them up, they will add up to 147. We can actually prove that quite easily by copying the numbers from SQL Plus and, for instance, going into a spreadsheet, pasting the numbers into a column, and then summing them up. And we get 147 rows. I could have done the same with a calculator. The point should be made by now showing how the intersection or natural inner join actually functions, in that it only connects between the category and show table based on values that exist in both. That is what an intersection is.